one of the goalies on varsity hockey and the captain. And I've heard a little something to say about my 4 years here and what I've learned. Looking back to when I was in 8th grade, I probably never would have thought I'd be standing where I am right now, from the people I've met to the memories I've made and how I've grown. I attended most, if not all, of my brother's games when he was a junior on varsity. I remember looking behind the net where I'd stand watching the goalie, who was Ian Harris at the time. And I just remember thinking, one day I want to wear that McQuaid jersey. That dream came true less than a year later, something I would never expected only as a freshman. It was the highlight of my career playing with my brother, something I had never done. So what most people think, and what I had originally thought, playing varsity hockey is not always about winning and being the best. And yes, at times, that's what everyone wants. But it's more than that. It's a relationship. A relationship between you and your coaches, you and your teammates, and you and your opponents. And of course, you and the ice. A relationship is defined as a state of connectedness between people. Many of us have relationships, whether it's with our parents, close friends, or even girls. But for a hockey team, it's a relationship between 20 to 25 guys. A lot of you know that I use the, well, especially the kids, I use a quote or a lyric that goes, winning isn't everything, it's the only thing.
The dog.
Exactly. But the thing is that this quote couldn't be more wrong. It took me a while to learn this, but I finally realized everything isn't about winning. It's about being with your friends, 6 times a week, working your hardest, chirping each other, complaining about Don Cherries or seeing what Brian Kick had for lunch after a hard day of all tears. It's a bond everyone has. It's a bond everyone has. We all have the same pain after a loss, and we share the same happiness after a huge win. We are there for each other whenever. Hockey is about having fun, playing the sport you love. Every game, LV would always come up to me and say, just have fun, Brian, just have fun. It was hard sometimes to take that into account when I'm playing in Pittsford and Fairport, though, because all I want to do is win. The last thing I'm worried about is having fun. After most games, I'd sit in the locker room in silence and look back at what I could have done differently. Sometimes I'd still be half undressed when Brad or Al came in to lock the room up. I realized, though, after the season was over, that I wouldn't change anything or do anything differently than the path I took. I can't describe how many people I've met, both on our team and opposing teams. These people I've met have made me who I am today. The time you spend in the locker room with the dog pound, telling stories, laughing, making plans, or just being with each other. Isn't that what it's all about? It's sad to see these 4 years come to an end, but it's the ending of one of the best chapters of my life. It has been something I will always treasure, something I will always have in my mind when I see a hockey rink. The memories go on forever, and for me, they're all great ones. My mom always asks me, what's your favorite memory of hockey? She says it's got to be one of the Pittsburgh games. But the thing is, it's not. My favorite game has nothing to do with the sport itself, to be honest. My favorite game is Baldwinsville from this year. Not because I played a good game, because I didn't, nor because we won. But it's my favorite game because of another person's actions. Standing up for me, a teammate when I needed him. That third period will always stick in my head. It goes back to the relationship I was talking about. The relationship with your teammates. I sat back and watched someone take care of my problem. I never asked him to do what he did. It was just an instinct. He was ejected from the game, and as I watched him... He was ejected from the game, and as I watched him skate off, chills ran through my body. Replaying what had just happened made me not even care about the game anymore at all. All I wanted to do was tell him thank you. When the game ended, I went into the locker room, and there he sat, with the grin on his face like I've seen so many times before. He stood up, and I gave him a hug and said, I love you. To him, it was just another I love you, because I say it to him a lot. But to me, it meant so much more. It's the most meaningful thing I've said to him, and I meant every single word of it. He's a person I respect beyond measure, a person that I look up to. He's not just a teammate, not just a classmate, not just an elder, but he's my best friend.
Elder.
This is what hockey's about in McQuaid in my mind, being there for each other. That's why we put the jersey on every game. We don't have name tags on the jersey because we represent everyone, not just ourselves. We are a family. I hope that everyone can experience something like this. I never would have thought 2 minutes could be what I tell people is the best experience of my McQuaid hockey career. But small things go a long way. If you can have a moment like that that means as much to you as this story does to me, then you have found true happiness in the sport. That there is more to a game than just winning. I have a couple people to thank. Mostly I thank LV for being as good as he has been to me for the past 4 years, or 7 seasons. I don't have enough time to explain what he's done for me, so for that I say thank you. To Stiffy for always knocking me off my high horse when I thought I was too good by sniping me time and time again. To Mason for always going blocker side, guaranteeing me a save after Stiffy shot. To Jim for helping me with my horrible habits in net, even before McQuaid. To Brad for, well, just being Brad. Oh. But in all honesty, he does more for this program than anyone can imagine. For that, we all owe him a thank you. To Greg, the trainer. His first day on the job was my first day, and we bonded right away. It was always a pleasure to sit when I knew Greg would be sitting on the bench with me. I've never laughed so hard with him or Jimmy. I just lost myself. Oh, and to a person that many of you don't know. His name is Mel Castro. I'd like to thank him for always being there, keeping up with my play even after he was done with the coaching staff. He was a mentor to me, and it's sad that teams don't get to be in his presence anymore because he's one of the most kindest and happiest men I've ever met in my life. A special thanks to my mom and dad for putting up with me these past 4 years, and for all the work that they did this year, and to all the assistant captains' parents as well. And the last thanks is to my teammates, this year and past. Thank you for a great year and the moments that came with it. For any upcoming players that are still on the team or that are coming up next year, all I have to say is enjoy your time, and I mean that. It goes by way too fast, and once it's over, you can't go back. Don't focus on the bad things, rather think positive. Playing on a team should be the best years in high school. If I could do it the same way again, I would, 100 times over. That's how much I loved it. You should feel the same way by the time you're done. And remember, not everyone gets the chance to wear a varsity jersey, so cherish it and leave nothing behind. As Courage Lot once said, everybody wants it, everybody seeks it, but few ever achieve it. For those that do, they will cherish it, be lost in it, and among all, will never, never forget it. Thank you.